All right, so we're going to try this one last time tonight. The first time wasn't my fault. That last time, if anybody saw it, I deleted the video just now, but I went to take off and the plane just shot straight up in the air. That's not how a plane's supposed to fly. So I don't know. I mean, Microsoft just did an update on this simulator yesterday. I don't know if it's just messed up or I don't know. But let's try it again. So let me change the livery, because maybe the livery is bad luck. Maybe we're not supposed to use these Aviator Club liveries. Maybe that's just bad luck. Let's do this executive black one. All right, and we're down here at in Honolulu. Let's go ahead and we'll load the flight up from inside the cockpit. So let's go ahead and let's go back to ramp 8. Let's click fly. So I've never had trouble with this airplane before, but let me explain what happened on the first time around. So I just explained it, but since I deleted the video, let me show you what happened. And I do not see a way to fix it, not unless I'm missing a button or a switch somewhere, which I don't think I am. But you know, if somebody knows how to fix it, let me know, because I am stuck. So we have these 2 fuel gauges here, okay? This, I believe, shows the outer fuel tanks, the ones on the edge of the wings. This is your main fuel tank here. I do not see a gauge for the center fuel tank anywhere, okay? So our first flight, these tanks went completely dry. I didn't realize they went dry. I refilled them, started the engines up again while we were still in the air. And when I restarted the engines, it said we were at 4,000 feet. I engaged the throttle so the plane can start leveling, you know, back out again and start climbing back up to its altitude, and it said we crashed in the water. My problem is with these switches here. So these switches here will transfer fuel, okay? This switch here is just to test it, to test these buttons to see if these lights are working, okay? So if you were to click this button here, okay, and flip it up, okay, it will take fuel from this main fuel tank and put it and increase the fuel here, okay? This is the outer wing. However, when you go under the weight and balance menu, it decreases the fuel here, but increases the center fuel tank. It doesn't do anything for the outer wing, okay? If you were to take this switch and push it down, it now takes fuel from the outer fuel tank and puts it into the center fuel tank. I do not see any button, switch, gauge, knob, dial, anything to take fuel from the center fuel tank and put it into the outer fuel tank. So what we're going to do is we're just going to start with the maximum amount of fuel in these outer. I have no idea why the engines would cut off when we had plenty of fuel left in the plane. I mean, we still had like 40% of the center tank left, and we still had a good chunk of fuel left in the main tanks. I have no idea why that happened. So I guess I should do my intro since this is a brand new video. So welcome all my fine aviation enthusiast friends. Welcome back to the airplane show. Welcome back to the best damn airplane show you ever gonna see. That's right. Even if it's not the best airplane show, just tell me it is, because that's what matters. Just lie to me and tell me what I want to hear. That's the American way. All right, so let's get this airplane started up, and then we'll program our flight in. It's a pretty easy flight to program. And all right, so what we got to do is let's take these propellers, put them down to emergency stop. Nope, not you. You. Let me grab you. All right, let's take this left one here. Let's put you up to start. Let's put you up to taxi. Let's put you on ground and you on ground. Oh, you know what? Let's put on, well, we got to turn a plane on before we can get lights. Now, if this was nighttime and we couldn't see, you would actually have a flashlight automatically right now until you turn on the lights up above. All right, so let's grab this key, turn on the battery. So we got this at start. Well, I guess it's close to start. Let's put it down a little bit. We got you on taxi. We got you on ground. So now we can push this here red button. It's okay to push the red button in this airplane. Move you to crank. Push you, and now we got this yellow light here. Once this oil pressure starts moving and gets close to 40 ounces of freedom, we can then put on the left main fuel tank. And then once the engine kicks on and we start getting a little bit of fuel flowing and some gases flowing, we can then put on the left generator and the inverter main switch. Let's turn on our transponder, which I don't believe does anything in this simulator other than just something else to look at. And now we can do the same thing for engine on the right. So let's move you up to start. Let's move you up to taxi. Let's click on this so the satellites can align. There we go. And now what we're going to do is, that's on ground. Let's click this. Let's click this. Let's click U. And again, when this gets up to 40, or on its way to 40, then we can go ahead and flip on the gas tank switch right here. Let's click U on. And then once the juices start flowing, then we can go ahead and click on the generator. There we go, juices are flowing. Let's turn on some lights. Let's turn on the instrument lights, in lights, co-pilot lights. Stupid co-pilot. All right, panel lights. Let's put on the beacon lights. And let's put you down. Let's put on the heat for the right and left. All right, let's set our flight plan real quick. This is a really easy flight plan to input. It's just putting in 2 airports and that's it. And then just a couple procedures. All right, so push this button in so we get the cursor that lights up. Take the small one, take the big one, go to the place you want to go, and then just use the small one again to start typing this in. So we got PHNL. All right, we got enter. And now we got PHKO. KO. All right, let's go to procedures. Let's go to departure. We are doing the Palais 3 LNY. Guess runway doesn't matter, so all right. Usually they ask for a runway, but I guess they don't care about runways tonight. So, all right, we're doing the ILS 17. We're using up Tammy tonight, so we're going to load up Tammy. Let's go back to procedure and do our arrival. We are doing the Vecchi 9, and we're doing the LNY transition. And now we're all set. let's go ahead and program in some frequencies. So let's see here. So for Linné is 117.7. This 109.7 is already the correct frequency for our ILS. That's already in there by default. I guess that just was by chance. I don't think that was meant to be there, but okay, 117.7 is LNY. So now we got that. We can switch these. So now we got LNY showing there. Our heading for the runway is 42 degrees, so let's program in 42 here. That's the degrees. All right, that's close there. Let me double check LNY. I was going by memory for that one, since I've programmed it in a lot over the course of my life. Because that was always one of the free airports for X-Plane, so I was always using that one for X-Plane. All right, so we are ready to go. Let's activate the autopilot master switch, so when we're ready to turn on the autopilot, it will be ready to go. Let's put you on auto, let's put you on both, and let's just turn you up a little bit. Let's adjust the cabin pressure. Let's put you up to 10, just in case we get up to 10,000 feet. And let's check our METAR. So the easiest way I found to do this, I don't think clicking update does anything. Yeah. So the best way I found is just to turn it off and then turn this phone back on. And then when it loads up again, it should have all the info. There we go. So it looks like it's 29.97 is our barometric pressure. That gauge is up here. And I believe this line right here is the line that you match up the pressure to. So let's say that's pretty close right there. Let's go to map. And let's click on this. Maybe that'll show up once we take off. All right, very good. Let's get out of here. Let's turn on some nav lights. Watch how fast this airplane jumps once we release the parking brake. Watch this. Watch out, buddy. All right, so I have the throttle all the way reduced now. It's like down to 0. And just look how fast this plane goes. That shit is crazy. Right? Look how fast it goes. I don't know if whoever made this plane, I forget if it was Microsoft or Just Flight or whoever the hell made this, and it builds. I know it's not PMDG. I forget who made this thing. I don't know if they meant for the plane to be this fast, but I mean, like, it's like doing highway speeds around the airport. It's crazy. Stop here for a second. I don't know why the... Yeah, let's just turn on all the lights. Who cares? It's getting dark outside. All right, so we're gonna travel down runway 4 right for a minute or so. Let's put our flaps in takeoff position. That's 2 clicks down. I'm going to hide the yoke again once I activate the autopilot, because it's almost impossible to see the vertical speed dial when that yoke is sitting there. At least at the angle that I'm at for operating the buttons for the autopilot. Because you kind of have to sit back, like, kind of behind the 2 chairs in order to get to the buttons and see the dash at the same time. So, all right, here we are. We're coming up on runway 4 left. Hopefully the plane won't shoot straight up in the air like it did last time. I have no idea why it did that. I've never had this plane do that before. All right, let's put the park and brake on for just a second. Let's go ahead and move these up all the way. All right, you are on safe. That's where you're supposed to be. You two buttons are on run. That's where you are supposed to be. Everything looks good there. Everything looks good there. Everything looks good there. Let's put on our... Well, you know, we can adjust the VNAV. Well, you know what? Let's adjust the VNAV right now, actually. So let's push this button in. I want to be at 1,500 feet by the time we get to... I'll show you. I forget the name of it, but I remember what the word looks like. Give me a second. Let me so 1 mile before, enter, and it is Egypt. That's the glide scope capture point. So we got that, and let's do 1,000 feet per minute for our descent angle. All right, so now VNAV is all set up. Once we get situated in the air, it'll give us a countdown. Let's click flight plan one more time so we can get our map. Zoom in a little bit, and I like this map actually. You know, we'll leave the other map on for now. That map's a little busy. I don't know, I don't see a way on this particular navigation. Like, normally I know how to get rid of all the clutter, even with these Garmin systems, but for some reason this Garmin system, I don't see a way to get rid of the clutter. You know, of all the waypoints and symbols and all that shit. So, all right, let's get out of here. Enough talking. Let's see if we're gonna crash this plane again. Hopefully we won't. Yeah, I should try VATSIM, you're right. Maybe I'll look into that. I just really started being able to play this simulator properly because I have an Xbox now. I've never had a computer that can run this simulator. I would love to have a PC that could run this game, but I've never been able to afford it. Maybe one day I'll be able to get one. So I would love to have a PC strong enough in order to run this simulator properly. All right, let's put the gear up. I mean, the Xbox does a pretty good job for the most part, you know, with this simulator, but it's definitely made for a strong PC, that's for sure. All right, let's continue our turn. Alright, I'm going to get situated a little bit more before we activate our navigation system. Let's continue our turn here. Let's put one of our flaps up. What is going on with this airplane tonight, man? Let's make our turn now. And we'll activate navigation here in a minute with the autopilot. All right, let's click autopilot. Let's get rid of you. Hang on, I don't know if autopilot captured. Okay, now let's click autopilot. Let's click track. Why is it diving? Come on, Pete. Come on, man. They must have changed something with this plane during that last update, because this plane is definitely not operating how it did before. All right, let's go back to the pink line so we can get on track. Let me pause this for a second. Let's adjust the heading. All right. Let's click heading mode. Yeah, it's not, I click heading mode and it doesn't go towards the heading. This is crazy. Maybe we'll give up on this airplane tonight. I mean, I've flown plenty of planes in these simulators. These planes are not that hard. You turn the airplane where you want it to go, you push the buttons, and the buttons do what it's supposed to do. For some reason, this particular airplane tonight, it's had a lot of weird things happen to it, and I don't know why that is. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Why is it doing that? Boy, this is frustrating. Now I kind of want to figure it out. Like, why is it doing that? All right, now it's working. Let's click track mode. So it'll capture our flight plan. I don't know what was up with that before. That was very weird. Like every time I would click the autopilot button for it to do its thing, to go into heading mode, it would just take a hard right and start diving. See, and now it's turning towards the correct route. It's weird. Definitely, definitely something going on, because it wasn't doing that before this last update. It just went through an update a couple of days ago. I guess it was maybe yesterday it went through an update. It was perfectly fine until that update. Like seriously, this plane is not really that hard to fly. You take off, you get control of the airplane, and then you push a couple of buttons for it for the autopilot. I mean, it's not like it's not real difficult. But for some reason, that was difficult. I don't know what was going on. I was hitting, so on the controller you can hit Y and that'll activate the autopilot. So I would hit Y and then I would push the heading button on the autopilot, and then the plane, you saw it, the plane was just taking off like to the left and then like nose diving. It's crazy. All right, let's go ahead and click the altitude hold button. Will sit at 10,000 feet. So altitude hold. Let's move our propellers down to cruise. And let's move our torque. You see the torque pressure is above 50. That needs to be between 40 and 50. All right, very good. That's good. Let's turn off these lights. And then we'll just keep an eye on things, because I don't think we're going to be landing this plane tonight. I'm pretty sure something's going to happen. Yeah, 113. Yep. Pretty sure something's going to happen that's going to stop us from being able to land the plane. All right, fuel quantity, let's take a look. You see that? You see how the gas went out? And the torque went out? That's crazy. So the only gas that's touched, looks like, is the center. It doesn't look like the other gas is touched. That's really weird, actually. Oh well. As long as it's easy to fix, that's fine. Oh man, this been a stressful flight already. All right, there's Panda Lee. That's Molokai, I believe. Yeah, I have no idea why that autopilot was doing that. That was very strange. turn the autopilot on and the plane just nosedives to the left. There's a feature with Navigraph I want to get, but I can't get it on the Xbox. You can't download it on the Xbox, but it's a feature that takes all the data from your flight, the wind direction, the crosswind, the amount of fuel, the weight of the airplane, you know, your location, the angle of attack, your top of descent, your top of climb, like all these things, and it puts it into Navigraph, and it has this telemetry chart that kind of keeps track of everything so you can see it like on Navigraph, but you can't download the software on here for some reason, on the Xbox. All right, so our course for landing tonight is course of 174. So let's dial that into CDI now. That way it'll be one less thing to do later. We got 150, 170, and what did I say, 174? Yep, so 170, 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. And let's move our heading to match our current path, just in case something happens. I wonder where you can set the height at for the radar outs, like your decision height and all that. I wonder if there's a way to do it in here. Nope, that's not it. No, I don't think it would be that. Nope. All right, so we got 31 minutes before we need to start descending. All right, very good. So we'll just hang here. Now, last time I tried to speed this up, actually, the simulator crashed. So that was before the update. I don't know what it'll do now, but Microsoft has a way to speed up the simulator, and all I did was I clicked it one time, just one X or whatever it is, 2X, whatever the one click is, and the next thing I know, I was looking at the startup screen again. So, yeah. The one for the 737 works really well. PMDG did a really good job with the fast forward feature on that plane, but for some reason the standard issue one with Microsoft is complete shite. I bet you if this simulator was on PlayStation, it wouldn't have those issues. I bet you if this was on PlayStation, it wouldn't have none of them issues. I'm not saying PlayStation's perfect, but they're definitely more of a gaming company than Xbox and Microsoft, that's for sure. I'm not looking at my son right now, but I bet you if he heard me, he'd be shaking his head up and down, agreeing with me. He's a PlayStation fanboy. Alright, so there's Lanai, then we're going to pass by Maui, and then, well, actually, pretty soon we're going to be getting ready for our, start doing our arrival once we get to Lanai. So we're heading of 292. We're on a heading to 292. Microsoft has a really pretty bush trip in Hawaii that you, I think you're flying a Cessna, if I remember yesterday. It was but there's no autopilot in this Cessna, so you're, like, if you want to have an easier time flying, you have to adjust the trim and get the mix of the trim and the throttle correct, so you can kind of just take your hand off the controller for a little bit, just so it'll kind of fly level for a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it's a really, you start off like at the island all the way in the back, like behind Honolulu. I forget the name of that island. Kauai, maybe. But anyways, you pretty much island hop. But those bush trips that they have in this simulator are really, really cool. I like them a lot. I like the ones especially. I like the ones where there's no navigation. You have to follow like what you see on the ground. It'll describe it to you. It'll give you like a VFR map. Just a general kind of, 2D layout of the area around you. And they're like, go ahead, now find your way to the next airport. And a lot of times those airports, it's like a strip of grass or like a dirt, a lane of dirt, maybe some gravel. It's not always an airport where you recognize, the runway. Sometimes you really have to look for it. They got some in the Pyrenees Mountains, Bavarian Alps, and California, and the Balkans, and Sicily, and Australia, New Zealand, New Caledonia, the Appalachian Mountains, Chile. The one for Chile is really cool. I did one of those like a week ago, and it was like an hour long, and it took you over top of these like glacier like mountains. I mean, it was really cool looking. The ones in Australia are pretty interesting too, because there's one of those trips where you're flying over like northwest Australia, and like the ground is like super red. It's really cool. All right, we can switch our frequencies now since we're past LNY. Now, if you still needed to use LNY as a reference point, certainly you could leave it in there and then just click on CDI so it says VOR here, and then you can just match up your, whatever radial you're flying off of, just match it up with the CDI needle, and then you can certainly fly that way. We're not flying that way tonight. All right, let me pull up the approach chart on Navigraph. So we have Zilna. And so we're pretty much just flying in a straight line until we get to Tammy. And then once we get to Tammy, we make that turn towards Vecchi. And then once we get to Tammy, we'll activate heading mode and localizer mode, so we can capture the localizer. There's also a glide scope button down here, so we can try to do a glide scope landing. I believe this plane will take itself all the way down to like near the touchdown zone, if I remember correct. I think this plane will do that. It's got a indicator here for the ILS course. All right, let's check our fuel. All right, yep, still just the one fuel tank using fuel. The other fuel tanks make no difference in this plane for some reason. Still baffled on that way after takeoff. I'm still baffled why the plane was doing that. Unless maybe there's something wrong with my controller. I don't know, maybe it got somehow one of the buttons inside the controller got stuck and it was pushing like down to the left, or I don't know. It was weird. I've not really experienced that with the simulator before, where you go to activate the autopilot and it just starts like really sharp turning to the left and nosediving. That was really weird. Now, I think we should be at 4,700 feet right now, if I'm looking at this correctly. So let's start our descent now. Because if I'm reading this arrival chart correctly, it's got a 4,700 underneath the dotted line, and it has 28. So the 28 is the mileage. I think the 4,700 is the altitude we're supposed to be at. So let's go ahead and start descending. So let's lower our throttle. Let's disengage altitude mode. And let's put our vertical speed down. Of course, I'm pushing down on it and the needle's going up. I mean, like, why would anything in this airplane work properly? It's only Microsoft. Come on, let's go. You know, it's crazy. You have to sit there and click it so many times to go down, but to go up, like to increase your vertical speed, like if you're climbing, you just have to pull the trigger back a couple of times and it gets it up to 1,000. Here, you gotta like hold it down, something fierce. It's crazy. All right, we are good. We need more speed, that's for sure. And there's no real rush to get down to the altitude. I mean, we can really take our time. There's, you know, if we're at 500 vertical feet per minute or 1,000, it's all good. All right, let's update this. So 2995. Now we can probably do map. Yeah, the map feature's not working. Of course. Why would it work? Why would something work properly on this airplane tonight? Like, Jesus. I really picked the wrong airplane to be playing around with tonight. Good Lord. There we go. Now it's working properly. Man, I am really frustrated with this shit tonight. Jesus. This might be the last time I use this plane until they update it. There we go. Now. Now it's working okay. Let's check our weight and fuel. All right, that's doing okay. All right, we are now turning to Tammy. We're doing okay. We have, what, 38 miles to get to Tammy? Yeah, we got plenty of time to get to 3,000 feet, so. Yeah, something's wrong with this plane, because the, this is not even, I mean, the phone's not even working inside the plane. That's one of the, it's crazy. All right, what did it say it was? 29.9 something. Let's just put it down to, just put it there. It's close enough. There's our destination there. I believe that's Kona, because that's the island of Maui we just passed. There's Maui there, I believe. I think that's Lanai, and that's Maui right there, I think. So when we get about 10 miles out of Tammy, we'll switch into heading mode. And then we'll activate the localizer mode and click on the glide scope mode, and then we'll make our turn towards the runway, and hopefully everything will capture properly and will work properly. Knowing this airplane tonight, who the hell knows what'll happen. I really like this airplane though. It's a shame that it's got these issues. Or maybe it's just, maybe, I don't know, maybe I have a bad connection tonight. I mean, there could be a lot of things that are preventing this from functioning the way it usually does. You know, I don't know. All I know is that before the update Microsoft just did, it was really smooth, seamless. It was really nice. And now with this latest update, it's just been very, very difficult to fly this plane, to say the least. I tried it out the other day, I tried it out earlier today when I had a few minutes just to check it out, because, like I said, I mean, even if I'm not streaming, I still like flying this plane periodically just to, you know, stay up on it and still get accustomed with it, but. Yeah, I mean, even this afternoon, it was like, it was bad. It was real bad. I wish Microsoft would have more of those bush trips with the plane with the skis. And the planes with the water, like the water, I don't know what those things are called, but where you can land on the water. Like, it would be cool to have more, like, there's a couple, like, in Antarctica or, you know, somewhere where there's a lot of snow or ice, you know, where you can land with the skis and take off with the skis, and then there would be some cool ones that landed, like, in lakes or in the ocean. They don't have anything like that. I think there's one mission. I think there's one leg of one mission where, like for Australia, where you can land, where you land in the water. Yeah, see, the phone hasn't moved our location. Our location is stuck. That's crazy. All right, let's get down to 3,000 feet, and then we will level off. So let's get ready to push that altitude hold button. All right, altitude hold button is pushed. Let's move our throttle back up so we don't fall out of the sky. Make sure our torque is, oh yeah, our torque's got to go down. You got to keep that pressure between 40 and 50. Sure would be nice if this worked properly. Alright, it's at 29.95. Maybe we're close enough. Alright, we are about 19 miles, 18 miles out. And we're on a track of 118, so let's make sure 118 is in here. So what we'll do is we'll go to 120 and just go 1, 2. That's 118. I don't really think we're flying 118 though. I think we're actually flying D track and track. Why isn't there a heading mode there? Let's get that changed. Change fields. Yeah, let's change. Oh, I can't. All right, let's change just the heading. Alright, here comes Tammy. Alright, let's switch to heading mode. So let's go ahead and push heading. And let's push VOR localizer. Let's move you in a little bit. Yep, 109.7 is correct. And 174 is correct. All right, that's good. So it's getting ready to be close to that time where we gotta make sure we connect properly to the landing. Now, I don't expect the localizer to catch that far out. I mean, that's a good... But you know what? We can actually leave it in nav mode, actually. Because we got Tammy. Oh yeah, we can leave it in nav mode. Okay, so let's actually do that. We're still pretty far out. Auto track. I thought the localized, I thought Tammy was a lot closer to the airport than what it is, but it's 8, 12, 24. It's like 25 miles away from the airport, so. Yeah, we're good. But once we get to Tammy, we need to stay at 3,000 feet until we get the Vecchi. And then once we get the Vecchi, then we can start reducing our altitude to 1,500 feet, but I'm pretty sure the glide scope and the localizer will well, at least the glide scope, I'm pretty sure it'll catch before we get to Egypt. Our heading is going to be 174, so we can match that up with this. Reduce the speed a little bit. All right, it's picking up our VOR, as you can see. So once it starts making that right turn, then I think we'll activate. All right, so it just picked up the localizer. So what we can do is let's click heading mode. Let's click CDI. And let's click capture for localized capture and glide scope. And as you can see, we now have the flag for the glide scope. And it's working on capturing the localizer. Let's adjust our heading a little bit so it'll line up with the localizer. We can get that CDI needle in properly. Alright, you can see the CDI needle is now starting to line itself up. Hopefully it will it'll capture. Or I guess I have to click it again. Alright, let's click it again. There we go. Now I think it's got it. Yep. All right, it's got it now. So now I'm not going to do anything with the altitude. The altitude should capture, since we're at 3,000 feet now, this should capture the flag on its own, and like we won't need to descend ourselves anymore. I don't know what the hell this plane is doing, but it's making me nervous. Come on, why are you doing this? Let me see what this stupid ass plane is doing. Look at this thing. I wish they had some sort of indicator on these buttons down here to let you know when it's active. Because there is no way to know unless the plane responds, you have no way of knowing if it's active or not. It's absolutely crazy. I mean, it's almost like they do this just to fuck with us. All right, so now the localizer is captured. Let me put some flaps in. Yeah, there is no way to know what mode you're in with this autopilot system unless the plane is actually responsive to what you're doing. All right, so localizer mode is working. I want to say the glide scope mode is going to work again also now that I push the button again for it. Maybe not. Like I said, there's no way of knowing if it's working unless the plane is actually doing it. All right, I believe the glide scope mode is captured. Since I'm pretty sure we're good now. It's crazy though that they spend all this time and research and money into putting these airplanes together for us to use, but they leave the littlest things they leave out. Like, how hard would it have been to write some code to have these buttons light up to let you know when it's active? Right? That's real difficult. So I mean, it's okay if you have to push the glide scope button once to arm it, and then once to turn it on, and then once to arm it, but like, at least have a button light up to let us know it's even armed. Same thing with capture to localizer. I mean, it's just, or heading mode, or track mode, or any of the modes. Give us some sort of icon or light to light up to let us know that it's actually on. That would make this plane much more immersive. It would probably get you much better marks in the store as well. All right, let's turn off the autopilot. Last time I tried to use this mode to land a plane, it tried to land the plane 5 miles before the airport. So we're just going to land it ourselves tonight. That was a pretty smooth landing, I gotta say. That was pretty smooth. Wish I could see that again. All right. I'm tired. I'm frustrated. I'm hungry. I'm gonna stop this stream because this plane really pissed me off tonight. So I might do another one here tonight. I don't have to get up early tomorrow, so I do have something to do in the morning, but I don't have to get up too early. But I might do. I had somebody request Fukuyama Airport or Fukushima. I have to look at the chat again from. But anyways, I had somebody request that, so I'm going to look into a flight to there. I don't know with what plane, but I'm going to look into that. I might put it up later tonight. I don't know. I might just call it a day. But thanks for tuning in. Anybody that checks this out, thanks for the heads up with VATSIM. I do know about VATSIM. I just never really checked it out before because I can't really use it, I don't think. But let me see if it is maybe something I can use with Xbox. But yep, that's about it. Please comment, like, subscribe, do all that Do all the stuff you don't want to do, but all the stuff I'm asking you to do. Just do it for me, because the 2.5 seconds it takes to click on it really helps out. So thanks. See y'all later. Bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.